Hey, Nick, how's it going, bud?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. As long as you can hear me well, I'm doing great, man. Beautiful day.
I love it. I love it. So, hey
Great.
everybody, it's Nicholas Cormier and Andre. How do I say pronounce your last name
Rosario.
correctly?
Rosario, I know
Rosario.
it's tough.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Okay. Then, so Andre, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Me and Andre have just been, shooting it, and we've had a couple laughs this far. And so you're a life coach, and lots of people have a hard time finding a life coach who they can connect with and solve life's battles,
Many issues.
troubles, problems, issues. Yeah. So, Andre, tell us a little more about what you do as a life coach.
So, as a life coach, I make sure I'm there and by their ear. So, one funny thing about me that you might actually not know, I'm a retired boxer. I might not look it because I've gained weight since, but as a boxer, one thing that I always wondered was, why do I have this coach? All this guy does is scream at me, tell me what my flaws are. Like, I get it, help me. But I never realized when you're getting hit, that's why you need them, because you can't formulate the right thoughts or the right mindset to make sure you know exactly what it is that you're doing. Ever since then, I've been in sales for so long that I've realized, okay, a lot of these people don't understand a specific product or a specific item or service that they need unless they understood exactly what does it do. And obviously being thankful that I was working with a coach for so long, it's helped me realize sometimes these people can't see exactly what it is that's in front of them. It's always good to have that person by their shoulder to be like, hey, doing great, gotta change this a little bit and you're in perfect form. So that's basically where I'm at from there.
That's really cool. Well, a lot of people, well, I'm not an expert coach, that's for sure. But a lot of people, when they have a problem, they don't know they have a problem. So then having a coach is pretty helpful because typically the coach is the one there willing to give you the guidance, the the real truth to the realities of the issues to help solve them and
Of
ensure they're
course.
no
That makes
longer a
that makes
problem.
Nick,
So
that
here's
makes
a quick question for you, Andre.
that's the way, brother.
What's your core philosophy or belief about personal development and growth?
So my core belief might be a little bit extreme, but I personally feel that everybody's life is their own canvas. A lot of people feel like they're dropped in the world and they're just another number. They'll go to the doctors, they'll go to the dentist, and they're just another name. To me, every single person is special and every single person has their own story. They're their own character and their own story. And a lot of people just don't realize that. So, what I like to do is I like to make sure I give that confidence back to them where they see it like, okay, I don't just have to wake up and go to work for 40 years and just do the same thing that everybody else is doing. I am special. I do know how to do this. Because, personally speaking, Nick, a lot of people are confident. They just don't know it. Sometimes you might be in the shower and you just finished an argument, and in that shower you're thinking about everything you could have said back and you didn't say it at that moment. Or you're thinking, I wish if my life was different, if I had more money, I could have did this or that. And I'm there to let people know, hey, it's your life. You're the one in control and you can do every single thing you want and make any single change that you want in life.
Mm. So another question for you, Andre. What is the what are do you have any specific techniques or strategies that you go through with your clients?
Yes. So a lot of people hate my techniques in the beginning because they always assume it's like boot camp. Unfortunately, I've always understood, and again, this comes from having a boxing background. The best way for you to learn is through pain. And the best way I could give that example is literally this. Have you ever been in a talk with somebody or in an argument and you've done something wrong and they chewed you out so bad? it stores itself as a core memory inside of you. And next time you're in the same situation, instantly you say, I'm not doing this. I know what happened last time. I make sure I make them understand that pain is very important in order for you to make this change. You've been indoctrinated for so long that you think the answers are this, when in reality they're this. They're so complex and there's not a single specific answer, that I want you to pay attention to everything around your surroundings, your background, what's ahead, in order for you to understand there's so many ways for you to make changes in your life. You just have to take it one step at a time, and you have to be open to change. I work with a lot of people that have a fixed mindset and limiting beliefs. And unfortunately, they just grew up in a state where I know I can't do this. I know I got to give up here. I grew up in a state where, all right, I did 20 push ups. I can't go anymore. And I was told, no, make it seem like this is your last time. If you don't do 10 more, your life's over. And it would be that extreme. So I make sure I work with all of my clients by, first of all, having them start off with accountability and having them get a shared folder that I manage to make sure, hey, you missed this, this, and this. What happened? Because at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody in my field, but most of the people are looking to just get a quick paycheck. With me, it's my reputation. I've always been taught by my father that my word is my strongest and biggest piece of currency. So if I say something, I'm doing it, and I'm not raising any failures. You're gonna change. You're gonna be different. I don't care if you tell me, oh, I have this mental issue, I have this. We're gonna fix it together, because you have nobody else that's gonna be by your side that's as positive and as honest as I will be, besides me. And if I'm wrong, tell me who they are. I'll make sure I times 10 it on them.
Mm, amazing, amazing.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, your volume went away.
Oh, here are we back?
Yep, you're back.
So in 2023, from I would say packaged foods, processed foods, people not getting enough exercise, and maybe some people not even getting the right information. What are some of the best pieces of advice you have for people to take care of themselves
That is
as a
such
life coach?
That's a great and amazing question. I'm telling you, not a lot of people think about that. And it's funny that you said that, because mindset actually stems from what you put in your body. Most people think they got to take care of their body and their body will follow right back in between. But in reality, your mind is also an organism you have to take care of. So, something that a lot of people don't do nowadays, and I'm going to be very strict here. It's going to sound like, oh, do I have to do this? You want to make changes, you do. One of the things nobody does, you have to drink more water. And water is so important, because nowadays so many sugary foods and drinks are available. Good job. So many sugary foods and available, and drinks are so available that that's the first choice everybody goes to, and they look for the cheap and quick way to seek out dopamine. And unfortunately, that's what leads you going into that path. So when you wake up in the morning, technically you're supposed to drink 2 cups of water. While you're sleeping, your body is tossing and turning, and you're using up all of the liquid inside of your body and in your brain, moving back and forth. So as soon as you wake up, the first thing you're going to do is go to the bathroom, of course. But you're releasing, it's almost like an oil change. You're releasing the old oil, you have to bring in new oil. And unfortunately, not many people try to do this. And in most cases, they'll realize they'll have those ghost migraines or headaches throughout the day. They're lethargic. They feel like they're not all the way in. It's water. It's 100% water. And I'm telling you, you have to take care of your body, because water is so, I cannot stress how important water is. But getting away from water, because obviously you're seeing how important that is and how big I take that. It's also the food that you intake. Unfortunately, and I don't want to say the wrong things here or get in trouble, processed foods are not your friends. They are not your friends in any way, shape, or form. And they have so many pesticides, or there's a whole list I could go by. But most of them should not have the shelf lives that they do. If you were to go to another country like Europe or South America, in most cases, or even Canada, in most cases, you would not see most of those foods and they would not be approved over there because there's so many dangerous chemicals inside of it that's deteriorating our body. And I'm I'm sorry if this is a lengthy answer, but one of the biggest proofs is they tested Americans and people from other countries as far as sunlight exposure. Sunlight exposure is actually extremely good for you, but in America, we get cancer because of it. That has to do with processed foods because in both of the tests, the Europeans or people from other countries were given their standard diet, which has no processed foods and had a lot of sun, uh, had them receiving a lot of sun. Whereas the Americans had their standard meals, and 25% of the Americans had cancer, where 0% of the Europeans, the Australians, and everyone else that they tried didn't have a single strand of it. Obviously, cancer is more of a newer kind of disease. It unfortunately stems from processed food. So if something comes from a box, I'm not looking for it. Thank you, but no thanks.
Stay
It's sweet and it's
far away
good.
from the box.
It's far away from the box and far away from the cans too. The juices, the I mean, it's okay to cheat once in a blue and maybe have a juice or two every other day. But if you're taking it every single day, it gets to a point where you realize you're addicted to it because you can't let that sugar go.
Yeah, it's addicting, man. In Canada, I'm from Canada, and we have ice
Really?
caps. And those ice caps, man, from Tim Hortons. Have you been to Tim Hortons?
No, I have. The only place in Canada I've been is Niagara Falls, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Tim Hortons is a restaurant in Canada.
Okay.
So,
And
they got this drink called the ice cap. It's like a sugar-filled iced coffee, but it's like kind of like slushy form. And so, yeah, those things are great, man. But they got like 100 grams of sugar in them.
I mean, just the thought of it, I would want to try it just because you're telling me slush, a slush drink. Those are
Yeah,
my
it's like a
favorite.
slushy coffee with like whipped cream on top with sprinkles.
Oh, oh my goodness, you're already trying to give me diabetes just hearing that, man.
Yeah. Okay, so this is one that is super. I'm not too sure how much you get this in the business that you're in with life coaching, but habits are a big one, and also same balance is also a big one. So entrepreneurs typically, they move at a very high pace and they're high level people, so they have pretty strict habits. But then lots of people will say, hey, I want to make a bunch of money, so they go on the grind and they work 18 hours a day. How would you best describe balance for an entrepreneur?
So, oddly enough, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound crazy, but until you've tried it, you would never actually know. So habits are a big, big part of entrepreneurs. I'll start off with that by letting you know that there is no way, there is no possible way you can become successful in this field if you don't have some strict habits that you follow in your day to day life. And I'm talking about there's meditation involved, waking up at a specific time, making sure you're drinking enough water, making sure you're exercising and doing enough. Because in most cases, you're either on the phone talking to people or in between in and or meetings to the point where you're not going to have enough energy and you're going to be wasted midday if you don't actually try and keep that strict day-to-day habits that you try to do for yourself. Not to mention the fact that habits sometimes take anywhere from 16 to like 76 days just to form. It's not something that just happens instantly. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen so many people that say, you know what, I'm gonna get jacked, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do this, and they'll do it for like 3 or 5 days. They miss
Yeah.
one day, they're gone. They're off. They fell off the bike. They're gone. The reason why that is because once you stop a habit, you start having that self doubt and that mindset where you tell yourself, one more day won't hurt, one more day won't hurt. And unfortunately, that starts becoming the new habit where your mind doesn't want you to go through pain. Your mind wants you to be lazy in your room, playing games, watching movies, eating junk food. That's what your mind wants because that's when you're most happiest. It doesn't understand, and it's not trying to hurt you. It just doesn't understand that, hey, this is going to suck and this is going to destroy us in the long end. And unfortunately, habits are so important that this is another thing I include in my courses. They actually will help you gain your confidence. Because once you start noticing that you can keep yourself accountable, you'll start having a confidence that's like beyond this world. Because again, like I mentioned before, your word starts being your bond. It starts being your currency. It starts being,
Mm.
okay, I'm gonna do this, and even if I fail, I'm gonna do it. That builds that builds confidence. That confidence builds competence, and everybody will be able to see it just from your energy. I mean, I'm high energy alone, but like I mentioned before,
I
pain is
love
a
it.
big thank you. Pain is a big thing for me. I tell myself, no. I know we said 10 minutes. Let's at least get 5 minutes in and out of the way. Let's just try it. Because a lot of people don't realize that once you start something, you start actually not thinking about the time when you're involved in it. You just have to trick yourself to get in it in the first time.
Yeah, it's true. Because there's a book. I literally have it on my desk. The 20/80 rule.
That has so much to do with life, and you'd be surprised.
So if
Oh my
people
God.
start 20% of the habits, if people just explore 20% of the right things that they should be doing, that'll
Hmm.
give them 80% of the results that they're looking for.
As well, I'm not sure if it's 2,000 hours or 20,000 hours or 20,000 minutes, but if you do something for either 2,000 minutes, 2,000 hours, or 20,000 hours, 20,000 minutes, and you do it consistently and only that specific thing, you will be ahead of 95% of anybody else doing that alone. That already should make you feel special knowing that you're on a top part of a bracket. Like that makes me feel great every single time. But I agree 100% there. I mean, another book I agree 100% with, not to change subjects, but The 4 Hour Work Week. That's another book that's like gold.
Mm.
And this is the only way most thousandaires, millionaires, and billionaires make things possible because unfortunately, automation is the future. You have to make something to be automatic in order for it to constantly work for you constantly and constantly. You just can't be everywhere all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? I think the owner of the Cavaliers, I think he has 1,000 businesses and he's involved in every single one of them daily. But he doesn't have to sit there and give them all an hour a day. You have other people that help you work with that. So what a lot of people don't realize, they want the whole pie. It's okay to share. As much as you share the pie, first of all, it's not healthy for you. But the more you share the pie, the more you'll bring people along with you.
That's a good point. Then they have a
Thank
reason to come with you if you're sharing a
Oh,
piece
of
of it.
course. Of course. I mean, it's probably diving off topic, but Jeff Bezos became a billionaire by making multiple millionaires. He only owns 16% of Amazon, and he's still one of the richest people in the world. The only way that was possible is to let go of so much responsibility, let someone else take care of it, still get a piece of the pie, and work on your other endeavors.
My apologies. I just got a.
No, 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 you're good. But yeah, that's how billionaires and millionaires are born, man. Being able to share and give the
That's.
success to others.
Oh man, I love that. So, Andre, there's one really. You talked about the power of AI. How
Mhm.
do you think AI will actually mix with life coaching?
That's a great, great, great question. And I'm not, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a movie that recently came out. I think it was called Megan, the AI doll.
Uh, oh, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it.
It was actually a pretty good movie. But in the movie, they were testing her out by having her work with a little girl with a psychological issue. That was a really big part that not a lot of people saw the foreshadowing in there, because the AI did so incredibly good. Because, of course, it has nothing but a library mindset that could go by in an instant.
Yeah.
That not only did it help her fix her issue that she was having, because obviously her parents died. Spoiler alert. I should have said that first. But the AI was able to embed itself in her brain by letting her know, if nobody's here for you, I am. Which ended up being an issue in the movie because she became so reliant on the AI, she started pushing her actual immediate family to the side. Going back to your original question, a lot of people say AI is going to, I think Elon Musk said that AI is going to replace 40% of the jobs in the next 5 to 7 years. And even though that's scary, he's trying to do something different, which is work with AI in order to make sure that, hey, we can use each other and work with each other. You don't just wipe us out. But the reason that is so important is literally because everybody thinks, well, goodbye to $7 an hour minimum wage jobs. It'll be able to replace McDonald's servers. It'll be able to replace people giving you gas in your tank. But what nobody's thinking about is that is in 2018, Google created its own AI that they have not released yet for a specific reason, but it sounds so human-like. The AI called a hair salon and set up an appointment, and it sounded so realistic. You couldn't tell. Here's where I'm going with this. Assume in the next few years, oh, my job is secure, I'm in sales, AI can't take that. How often do you feel accosted every time you go into a car dealership or a clothing store and you can smell the commission breath on them, like, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you?
Yeah.
Most people are going to say, are you human or AI? I'm AI. Okay, perfect. Let me talk to you because I know you won't be pushy on me. And that's the scary part, because people like me might think we're not replaceable. It's dangerous to have a machine like that, thanks to Megan, that shows people are going to be so enveloped in that they might forget what human interaction might be like, especially because, and I hate to sound so gloomy, unfortunately, things look like they're going in a really horrible path in the U.S. and Canada, in almost every country. It seems like violence is starting to become a more apparent thing. Where if AI comes along and says, "Hey, we'll take care of you. If nobody else loves you, we will." People are gonna want to go with that, because nowadays you can't go outside and just meet a new friend by saying, "Hey, how's it going?" I don't want to sound creepy or weird, but I want to be your friend. Where AI, it doesn't have ulterior motives, so you're more likely to let it in. So, personally speaking, I agree with Elon Musk. We want to work with them. We don't want to work against them, because they could definitely take most of our jobs. Seriously, like, there's sites now that could create a whole book by you giving it a few simple ideas, and that's insane.
And
It's
boom,
great and
it'll
scary. Say it again.
that is pretty it is pretty cool. Like you give AI a little bit of data and it'll shoot you back a whole book. Why not? Give it a couple notes. Say, hey, I want it to be about, let's say, life coaching. I want it to educate people from the ages of X to Z, and you could put on there, my name is Coach Andre. Boom,
Yep.
it'll write it out. So
Um,
another question for you, Andre. How has technology Wait, so how long have you been coaching again?
so I've been coaching since 2020. I actually was
Eh,
always in sales. for like literally 15 years until the pandemic hit. And it was the first time that it was the first time I ever felt insignificant because I was furloughed. I never even knew what that word meant until 2020. I just know one day I came in and I was like, I didn't see any appointments on the board. Well, you're being furloughed. What is that? It's not like you're being laid off. You're just taking some time off. And that was the very first time I felt terrified because I'm replaceable, just like AI. Like, I'm
Mm.
replaceable.
Yeah.
I need to pick up some invaluable skills in order to make sure this doesn't happen again. So since 2020, to give you a quicker answer.
Mm. Yeah. That's awesome. So I guess I was going to ask the question, how has technology changed coaching? But that's kind of we don't need to ask that one.
Well, personally
I
speaking, it's
think there
changed
were,
it a lot. It's changed it
yeah.
a lot, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like, I'll give you an example. And hey, and that's if you want to dive into it, but it's a really good example. Do you know who Russell Brunson is?
Mm-hmm. Click funnels.
So, yep, ClickFunnels, that's technology right there. ClickFunnels was such a big game changer that it changed the game fully for everybody. Now, I'm sorry, technology is extremely important because back then, the barrier to entry to start a business was so impossible. You would have to know somebody, you would have to have capital, you would have to have some kind of knowledge. It was so impossible to get in that now you have teenagers, 13, 15, 16. All they need is a phone and their personality. And that's it. They have a business, and sometimes they know it, sometimes they don't. It's made business so much easier because when I first started, I didn't know email marketing was a big deal. Now, good luck finding a site that lets you send 1,000 emails for free. It's like almost everything costs money now, but it's understandable because you can make a business out of any single thing. Right now, people are so used to seeing the same thing over and over again that when they see something new, interest, automatic interest. I want to know what that's about. Technology's changed the game incredibly. If I could tell you something Patrick Beck David said, when he was building up his insurance companies, he would always look around for, and this is something he mentioned on his podcast, he would always look around for technology to make the insurance quotes be a lot easier, even if they helped you by just 1 minute. And sometimes that technology will cost like $5 million. And his board of directors would be like, that's a little steep. You sure you want to invest that kind of money into this? And he would say, yes. Here's why. It'll make the agent's life easier. It'll make the customer's life easier. And it'll make things go a lot smoother. And wouldn't he know it? The other day, I was changing my car insurance. And as soon as it said it had to go through a whole survey, I was like, I really don't want to do this. But I had no choice. I put in a little bit of information in 10 seconds. No quote needed. It already knows me. That's a game changer. That
That's a game
technology is
changer.
just such a game changer. I mean, look at this now. In a in a
Andre, did you know what you can do now
what?
with AI? So, do you use ChatGPT often?
All the time. I just
All the
used it
time?
before I got on this
Okay.
call.
Yeah, so with ChatGPT, do you have like a main conversation that you use every time?
No. So
If you so let me explain how to do this. If you use the same conversation every time, what you can do is you can say to ChatGPT, I am going to give you information to help you understand me better. And you could put
right.
in like your website, your company's website, how many family members you have, how many aunts, how many uncles, how many clients you have. And then when you ask ChatGPT the questions about yourself, even like, hey, um, it'll spit you back answers really quickly with all the data that you give it. and it just keeps improving. And just as an example, like if you're like, hey, I want to create a sales pitch um, for, let's say, for my clients, it'll probably know how to give me a sufficient script just because of the information that I've given it. And I love that.
100%. I agree. I agree exactly with what you're saying. So the reason I said no is because I haven't had a few different conversations, so it knows, hey, this has nothing to do with this. I want you to talk to me about this. But I do
Mm.
have long form chats with it where, and I'm about to tell you something that surprisingly has been working for me. But I do have long talks with it, and when I'm
Yep.
on a specific subject, and it does give me better and better and better answers because it knows what it's talking about. But something I've realized lately, it could just be a habit that I have. But anytime somebody does something for me, I always thank them and I always let them know how grateful I am. And I lie to you not. I know they don't have souls yet. Every time I thank it, it's been funnier as far as its responses. It's been more human like as far as its responses. And I've even tested it with a new account and my old account. And my new account, I'm only taking by asking it questions. My old account, I'm thanking it every time it gives me something useful. Where I've asked the same question, it's responded differently and it's almost favored me on my older account. It could be because I have longer form content chat with it, but because I thank it so much, it talks to me like we're buddies. The other day I said, like, I'm Puerto Rican, I know Spanish, but I didn't want to think about it. I said, can you just translate this for me in Spanish? And it translated it. And I was like, gracias. And it wrote LOL, comma, de nada. And I was like, there's no way. It just responded to me like, but I'm telling you, like, it's almost like it's got its own personality. So I know it might sound dumb for saying this, but I treat it like I would talk to another person. I feel like it's literally treating me better because of it. And I could be wrong, but it's nice to have that mindset.
Hey, it's better to have treat Mr. Chat GPT better, and for
Yeah,
and for Chat GPT to give you the best results. If you
yep.
thank it, I mean, it's probably going to feel welcome.
Well, you gotta understand. Sometimes small compliments go a long way.
Oh, that's true. It's the little things that matter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My last question here would be this is going to be a nice open-ended one. So looking back on your life, all the jobs that you've worked, the businesses that you've worked in, is there anything that you've done differently? So like, do you have advice you'd give to aspiring life coaches? To be a life coach, would you say that you need to have multiple jobs under your belt to have the experience? Or what is your thoughts in that category?
So, do you mind if I give you a long-winded answer, or you want the short
Yeah,
cliff
go
notes?
for it. Go for it.
So, I'm gonna start off with a recent story. Just mentioning ChatGPT for the last time. They recently put an AI's brain or computer source into a robot and only gave it the instructions. I only want you to do these boxes. I only want you to make these boxes, and that's it. But they gave it full AI where it could think for itself. I'm not going to say the actual word. After about 20 something boxes, it stopped and it decentralized and unalived itself. Knowing that you can't put a rational thinking, and this is going to sound so bad, you can't put a rational thinking person to do the same thing over and over again. Just like, I hope it was Einstein, said, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different is the clearest form of insanity. He said it differently, but I've never been in a job for more than 1 year. Never. No matter how much I love the job, never. And a lot of people would constantly tell me, that looks bad on your resume. That looks like you're not consistent. You're not in one place. I knew ever since I was young, because I came here from Puerto Rico. I didn't know
Mhm.
English. I was a farmer. I would have never had this if it wasn't for me coming to this beautiful country. I always knew that I was meant for so much more. And I always had a gift for talking to people that I knew I could help them out in so many ways. I couldn't just be contained. As soon as I reached my limit and plateaued at any single job, I always sought better. I couldn't stay. It almost started making me feel like I was going crazy doing the same thing over and over again. I'm telling you, every single job that I've been in, I've been the best sales rep, period. And I can say that with full confidence. And it would get to a point where I think this is wrong to say, but I'm bored. And I've always felt that way. You can't contain me. I don't see this even being my full-time gig because I need to help a lot more people. And I can't do it with one-on-ones. I want to get to the point where I'm taking over Tony Robbins' job. I mean, personally speaking, that's where I
Mm.
see myself. But there was never one job where I stood there for more than a year. I always got close to management or the owners. And one thing I realized, they had a different mindset. They all invested into real estate and they all had gratitude in their heads. Literally, that's the one thing that never changed from every single one of them. But I would take a little bit, be incredibly good at it, take it to the next one, surpass that, take it to the next one, surpass that. A lot of people tell me, wow, you're in your 30s? You sound like you have a lot of life experience and a lot of life advice. Well, yeah, I've spoken to almost 10,000 people because I'm so talkative. Anybody that I talk to is a conversation because you'd be surprised. Sometimes somebody could give you a 2 hour long winded answer that means nothing. And in 30 seconds, they probably gave you something that would possibly have you change your life and your outlook towards life by just those small 30 seconds because I'm a big firm believer that you are not the same person you was 30 seconds ago. You're always looking to
Mm.
change and you should always absorb as much as possible. This life is beautiful. There is so much. It pains me when I hear people tell me, oh, I eat the same food every week. I watch the same shows every week. There's so much out there. And I might be crazy, but I love learning. I love learning something new every single day. It makes me crazy when I just sit there and I'm like, I haven't learned anything today. So personally speaking, for me,
So
I've
then,
never stayed at any job for more than a year. It's always been, I can't do anything more here. I have to go every single
mm,
time.
take what you can and get out and go and apply it elsewhere.
Of
That's
course.
amazing. So
Thank
honestly, so what I'll do, Andre, um, I'll probably cut this up a bit, but what I'll do is I'll cut this up and I'm gonna make a couple shorts. And so I plan on putting in like the B-roll behind it and then some music.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be, yeah, I guess one of my first podcasts. And then I plan on just like doing it, yeah, more often because I feel like it's pretty cool. Because in a way, now I feel like I'm like way more connected to you. I feel like through a podcast, like I didn't have to fly to where you are to be able to have this conversation. Like it's pretty awesome. And then I think another cool part is like, as an example, I'll send you the footage and stuff, but I'll also tag you as a collaborator so that the content goes to your page and my page, and then we can
Okay.
reach as many people as possible. And yeah, I think that'll be really cool. Do you have
The algorithm
anything?
loves that, by the way.
Oh yeah. Do you have anything more? Um, I guess like from I'll probably cut the rest up. But is there anything else that you'd want to chat about on here?
Personally speaking,
Or
you had great and amazing questions. Obviously, from what you can see, I can keep going. Like the thing
man, you're
about me,
incredible.
well, I've been through so much life that there's no way I can't. I have like 10,000 stories within me. I'm telling you, like I have a conversation for no matter what subject you bring up. No matter what you say, I will have an answer. And the reason I've been so effective in what I do is literally because there is no problem I can't give you a solution for. And I know that's a fact because a lot of people tend to give up. I've never, ever got to the point where I was like, I don't have an answer for this. Either you make one up from your life experience or you push by and wing it. That's why I mentioned at the beginning. If you want to wing it, I could too, man. Like, I'm
Yeah,
telling you, there's
man.
so much.
It's
um,
amazing. So,
I appreciate
I
that.
guess, yeah. So,
If you want me to
Andre,
ask
what
you
I'll
a
do,
question,
um,
because I see that you travel a lot, which is a very, very big thing that I suggest everybody to do. And I'm pretty sure you got some feedback on that. I see that you
yeah,
created the company more than a year ago. I was what when I saw the drone flying by, I said, how did he put the logo on top of that building? Whatever system he used to make that happen was awesome. And then literally a minute into your video, that logo's real. He actually has it outside of that building. Like, you have a lot to say about you, obviously. I mean, there's a lot you could, based on everything I just said, there's a lot you could put on your input based on that in general. I
yeah,
mean, if you want to, of course.
that's, yeah, I'd actually be down. I never thought of that before. So, yeah, maybe
Remember,
if
everybody's has their own canvas and everybody's their own writer.
that's true. Oh man, well left an impact on me, man.
I'm glad it
Seriously,
did.
that's true. Everybody has their own canvas. Everybody's got their own story. I think that's great. So I guess maybe do you want to ask me about or
If
ask me any questions that you'd be actually interested in knowing?
so, some of them might be extremely short, but I'm pretty sure they're passionate, and that gives the best. First things first, whose wedding was that?
Uh, which the wedding that I edited.
Yes,
So that was my half sister's, not even half sister, step sister's wedding.
you
And
put a lot of
so,
emotion into that.
did you watch it?
Of course, I watched it. I'm not ignorant, man. You put emotion into it, and you slowed down the perfect moments, and you sped up the right moments. That was skill. That wasn't just a. Anybody would have just saw it as a selfish video. It wasn't a selfish video. That was really thoughtful what you did there.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I actually that was the first wedding that I ever filmed and the only one I've ever filmed, so I just wanted to do it for experience. So I had this like $700 camera and I didn't even have a good microphone or nothing. I just kind of winged it and tried to make it work as best as possible. And actually, when I was done recording, I found out that I missed like a ton of the footage. Like, I guess it deleted or the SD card was full. And, anyways, I worked around it. So, yeah, I appreciate that, man. I
Well,
probably spent like, it was the start of my video editing journey, if you will. So, it took
right,
me probably like 10 hours to edit that one little video.
and that's with lack. You lacked the space on your SD card. You lacked the microphone, and you still made it work.
Still
It,
made it work.
in 10 hours, you put the right 5 minutes into it. Like,
That's
you got what you needed. You made it possible with what you got. It's like a millionaire said, "Hey, I'm giving you $20. Make it work," and you made it work.
and I made it work.
Yeah.
Put all the resources I had together and made the outcome.
I got to ask you another question. You either must do a lot of digital marketing or you're a trust fund baby. Because how do you go on so many extravagant and beautiful places, man? Like, tell people how you make it possible. Like, not only how you make it possible, why do you do it? Because you shoot while you're doing it. I believe you have a really big story behind you that you're not talking about because you're filming a documentary for a reason. Only other person I seen do that was Kanye. So you're doing something for a reason.
Well, so it definitely wasn't a trust fund. I wish I got a trust fund. But so a mixture in between working really hard, doing a lot of digital marketing, doing a lot of great work. So I would say the first thing is that most people think that travel is really expensive, where it's actually not really that expensive. It depends how you want to travel. So whenever I travel, I try to go to learn, to see different culture, and to meet new people. So oftentimes I'm traveling to meet new people at networking events. So I'm actually just going to do some self improvement and some self development. And then on the other side of that, like I traveled for 6 months in Asia where I got a bunch of content and I did document a lot of that trip. And to be honest, like for 6 months, I stayed in like hostels, met new people. Like I remember there was one night, there was this hut and it was $2 a night and it was in the Philippines. It was literally $2 a night. And yeah, me and my fiance stayed in this hut for $2. And I think we stayed there like 4 days, and they gave us a deal. It was like $7 or for the week. But so it's really about how you travel, and I think a lot of people who haven't been outside of their own backyard or their own neighborhood tend to judge and think it's very expensive. But I traveled for 6 months, and it costed, I think it was $7,000. So I don't, in America and in Canada, I don't even think it's possible to live on that kind of budget. And in that travel, I lived, in my opinion, like a king. Like I ate out every day. I slept in a hut or like a hostel or a slash hotel, and I got to do a touristy excursions every day. So I mean, I think there's nothing better than it, to be honest.
I 100% agree with you. I mean, I literally 100%. You, I don't think it could have been said better. A lot of people think traveling is super expensive. They don't realize how expensive their country is. Because
Yeah.
if you tell me $2 a night, I believe you. Like I've seen some crazy YouTube videos where they said I ate out the whole day and it only cost me $2. Like that's insane. That other countries are so the word I guess the word I'm looking for is there's they're so reliant on the dollar that it never makes you wonder how much power it actually has and how much it actually drives itself through. And I mean that's insane because you eat a beautiful steak dinner here or there, it's gonna run you $30. But in another
Yeah,
country,
easy.
and in another country, 50 cents, and it'll be the most natural steak you've ever eaten.
Yeah, it'll be 100% organic.
Oh my goodness. Oh, so you traveled with your wife?
With my fiance. So this
Fiance,
is a
yes,
quick
I'm sorry.
story. So two, I would say about a month ago now, I left for Europe, and I've traveled to probably 10 countries with my now fiance. And during that trip, so my mother's side of the family is from the Netherlands, and during that
Okay.
trip, um, I had the idea that I would propose to her because we've been together for 6 years, and so you know, females, they always have a large expectations of what that moment will look like. So I was in my head, I was like, hey, should I rent a boat in the canals of Amsterdam and do like a lover's boat with lunch on there. But then it was stressing me out because I had to hire a photographer, I had to rent the boat, I had to get the food lined up. So that was out. And then I did end up planning, and I proposed by a windmill that has some personal history to it. Different family members in the past have taken a photo by that windmill. So I proposed by that windmill and got a picture where, you know, the ancestors also had a photo. So it was kind of cool.
It was more sentimental, which is the great part. But you can still call that a destination proposal because it was.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, that windmill creates lots of power.
Of course. Uh, I want to ask you one question, but before I ask you that, Did she give you any pushback before you said, "Hey, we're gonna travel for so many months outside of our country. It might be comfortable, it might not. I don't know what to expect. I want to try it." Do you? Like, how did that conversation go? Because that's not something I don't even like going camping, so that would have been a really hard pill for me to
That
swallow.
I would say that she likes to travel, so for me, she was like, "Yeah, let's go." Um,
That's
but a
beautiful.
quick story for you, which is quite embarrassing. When I this is how an engagement goes completely wrong and right. So I went and I wanted to make the engagement a surprise. But so I had some Dutch family and relatives follow me, and they were all speaking in Dutch about the proposal. Anyways, fast forward, I went down on one knee and proposed in front of the windmill. So I opened up the box, right? But the box was upside down, so the ring was upside down. So the first thing she says is, the box is upside down. So I was like, oh no. So I put it back upside down the right way. And then then I was just sitting there. I was really nervous, right? Down on one knee. So she looks at me in the eyes, and I was looking at her. I thought she'd grab the ring, but she's like, "Are you going to ask me?" So I was like, "Yeah, of course, Will you marry me?" And then she was like, "Yeah." And then it was, yeah, I kind of don't remember the rest after that, but it went totally right and wrong.
That's a core memory. How do you not remember that?
Man, I
I
don't
thought the whole
know.
I thought the whole time you were gonna tell me she knew Dutch and she knew it was coming because they were talking about.
It could have went both ways, right? Yeah.
Oh my god! But that
So where do
that's
you live
such.
again, Andre?
So I'm in Philadelphia in the U.S. I'm in Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Did a cool fun fact. I've been to every state in America except for Alaska and Hawaii.
Which is not bad considering they're both outside of the U.S. So I mean that's amazing. What do you plan on doing it? And if so, is it in the next 5 or 10 years?
So I've already done it. So the only way that I've done it is because my dad's a long haul truck driver. So in my early years, every summer break and every time we had summer holidays, I'd go in the big truck with him and he'd plan it so that I could go to each state. So keep in mind, it's only like I've been down the main highways,
Right.
the main cities. I've been to like Disney World and stuff like that, but it's not like I've actually explored every single large city, and like I've got to see the countryside of, I would say, 90% of America.
Man, the way people collect state plates, they already assume you
Oh,
did it. You do
yeah,
it too?
but dude, I don't even have one.
Oh
I
my!
need to get.
What are you
I
doing?
can't believe I can't believe I did that, man.
People even collect forks from different states. What were you thinking?
I could have got paid.
Hey, I've traveled the whole U.S. I just don't have physical. I don't have physical proof.
I don't have any physical proof, just photos.
Just
Yeah.
because that's one thing that I know everybody goes crazy about. Like, oh, I got 7 plates. What do you mean? From 7 different states? I never thought about it, and I visited so many customers when I used to work that that's surprisingly a thing. People really collect trinkets from different places. That's why I mentioned forks. Literally, I've met a customer that's had almost 20 something different countries, and the whole US has forks. And I was like, there's different forks? Forks? He said, well, yeah, there's stamps and bottle caps too. And I was like, well, I figured that, but forks?
Me and you, Andre, we never thought of collecting it, man.
No. So hey, it would have passed by me too. But hey, you got the experience, so that's the only part that matters. I mean, everybody here has a wedding that they try to make special. You can definitely say yours was 100% more special on top of theirs because one, you left your comfort zone. You went traveling in who knows where, staying at hostels for $2. The fact that it cost $7,000 was insane because most Americans go through that in like 2 months. But that already was insane. And then to top it off with, you know what? I love this so much. I'm gonna marry her. I have everything planned. Oh crap! I'm so nervous. I don't know if I'm doing
Which way's the ring, man?
this. With the family laughing at you, Dutch family.
uh, to be honest, I don't know because they were taking photos, so I'm sure they're probably laughing behind the camera, you know.
How were the photos?
The photos were really good. I think there's a couple on Instagram you could check out.
I'm gonna have to because when you're telling me a Dutch family, I would figure they wouldn't know where the camera is or which way to shoot it.
Oh yeah, they
That's the first
definitely.
thing I would think. Like when I give my mom a pic and tell her, "Hey, take a picture of me," I'm like, "Well, thanks for missing 25% of my head, but great picture."
Yeah, no doubt. Well,
Oh,
perfect, Andre. I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to schedule a round two of this podcast, man.
whatever you want, man. It lasted the perfect hour, surprisingly.
Yeah, it was perfect. So what I'll do is I'm gonna send this to my video editor. He'll make sure the raw. I'll shoot you the raw version, but then I'll also shoot you the short form content
Appreciate
part of it. And yeah, man, let's stay in touch. And if I can send you some referrals, I definitely will. And I appreciate it, man. Anybody who needs life coaching, anybody who feels like they're stuck or they're in their mud, hit up Andre. He'll help you with your mindset, which is probably the number one thing because mindset controls all the other variables. So if you
it.
feel stuck, you need a life coach, you need somebody in your life, here's the man right here.
At Marketing Coach Andre on Instagram.
Bang, and
There
follow him
we go.
right now.
Thank you, guys. Nick,
Thanks.
anytime you want, man. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Andre. Thanks a lot, man.
Anytime, buddy. Have a great one. Thank you.
You too. Cheers.
Cheers.